We got to start to understand what makes people tick.
Welcome to the HR Like a Boss video series. If it resonates with you, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or sharing with a friend. In the description below, you'll find social media links on how to listen to the complete podcast interview. You can also take the HR Like a Boss survey at willery.com/HRLAB. I've embarked on a journey to get to know amazingly awesome HR and business professionals. These conversations serve as the foundation of a book I'm writing called HR Like a Boss. And on today's episode, I am joined by Dr. Jarik Conrad. Jarik leads the Human Insights and HCM Evangelism team at UKG, Ultimate Kronos Group. In addition, Dr. Conrad earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois, 2 master's degrees from Cornell University, and a Doctor of Education degree from the University of North Florida. In addition, he authored the best-selling book called The Fragile Mind and will be publishing his next book, which is called In Search of Humanity, later this year. Jarik, Dr. Conrad, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here, John. Looking forward to the discussion.
You got it. Well, I know I creeped on you after you had done an awesome presentation at a recent UKG event that you brought a unique perspective to transformation of human resources. And I wanted to have you on the show to get some of that perspective. I know there are some things we talked about before getting on the live show about how this has been somewhat of a thing for HR for a while. But unfortunately, I think we're at a time right now that if we don't transform and do things differently, that the business world might take a hold of us. And the other key point, which I appreciate too, Jarik, is the fact that your company is so focused on its people to the point that your purpose is people. And so I certainly value that. And I'd love to let the show get to know you a little bit better, my followers and listeners. So for those of you that don't know you or haven't seen you on LinkedIn or speak, would you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself other than what I've already given a little intro on?
Well, I call myself one of those people who call themselves a recovering HR professional. And so I've been in and around HR for the last, 20 years or so, either leading HR teams at large companies or, nonprofits or cities. I ran HR for the city of Jacksonville, or in my own solo consulting practice. I worked a lot with HR professionals and did a lot of executive coaching. So I've had a chance to be inside and outside of HR, and now working with UKG, obviously we provide products and services that try to help make HR's lives a lot easier and get them equipped for all these changes that we see occurring just in society at large, and as it relates to businesses and HR specifically. So I've been in and around this for a long time, but now is an exciting time.
I'm curious, how would you describe the purpose of human resources?
Today, people are thinking about like the employee experience. How do we focus on the employee experience, getting all employees engaged, making sure that the managers are connected with their employees so we can drive performance. I think in many ways, it's still about how do we drive performance for the organization? Well, I think it's got to be bigger than that. I think ultimately, HR people are going to be able to really unlock human potential, not just in service of the business, but in service of themselves as well. And to really unlock human potential, but that means I have to know people. I got to know people at a deeper level than I've ever known them before. So we got to be neuroscientists and psychologists to some degree, right? We got to be people scientists. We got to start to understand, what makes people tick.
So what challenges or barriers do you anticipate that the HR function is going to experience in going through that transformation?
I think that we need to collectively and individually look in the mirror. And we got to say, is this for us? Because there will still be aspects of HR that are operational. There'll still be aspects of HR that are, compliance related. There'll still be tactical things that need to be done, and they need to be done right. And I know we're automating as much of that as we can. I understand that. but there's still going to need to be human beings in that process. Somebody's got to manage the automation. Somebody's got to, so I think that we all are going to have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, where do I want to go?
If you could pinpoint one thing to start focusing your time on, right? One thing to focus your time on to make that transformation, to make that impact on the employees, on the organization, on the community, what would you suggest that to be?
I'd say start to understand the human brain. Focus on things like emotional intelligence. Focus on the aspects of our brain. Understand like why we're wired the way we're wired. I give you what I think is a perfect example. So there's so much talk now about diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. Given what we saw in the streets in America in 2020, there's so much discussion about what do we need to do, and a lot of the discussion is around emotion, and a lot of the intervention has been around, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya and just create a place where everybody's included and we can all hug and just be a wonderful place. We got to be done with that. We got to start to understand what makes people tick. And if I can start to understand what makes them tick, I might be able to get at the root cause or the root causes of some of the issues, some of the conflicts that we have across cultures, across race, across gender, across whatever those differences are. So the more I hone into the human brain, I can start to anticipate some traps that we can fall in. And that absolutely will inform what I'm trying to design as an intervention to move us forward. And so if there were one thing that I would suggest, it is take some time to invest in, go get certified in emotional intelligence. Start to learn, how biases work in the brain. Start to learn about simple logic traps like confirmation bias. What is it? Where does it come from? How do you avoid it? Start to learn the halo horn effect and how does that happen? Start to learn anchoring bias. What does that mean? How does that work? How does that show up when I'm dealing with the conflicts on a day-to-day basis? So there are a whole list of logic traps that we deal with this stuff all the time. As HR professionals, we're brought into these mini crises, but we don't necessarily have the tools to deal with them.
Well, I'll get you out here on this. The book is in process. Hopefully it'll be coming around the same time you release your book. So hopefully we can do a 2-for-1 on the folks that are listening. But last question is, the book is HR Like a Boss. So how would you describe someone that does HR Like a Boss?
I'd say number one, they're authentic, they're authentic, they're caring, and that they get the big picture. If you're going to be the boss, you got to get the big picture. You got to understand, how all these pieces kind of work together and let us move it toward something.
I really appreciate you being on the show. It was profound and insightful, and you're going to make me want to go study the human brain even more than I have, which could be dangerous because, oh my gosh, it could be dangerous, right? What you find out.
Yeah. Be careful what you find out, because you can't turn it off. This is one thing for people. Once folks delve into this and you start learning enough to be dangerous, you can't turn it off. You notice things that you would not notice otherwise. And it's, it's fun.
Quick recap on a few points that Jarik had made that I want to make sure that we can share with the team and those listening in on the HR Like a Boss family here. And I appreciate everyone listening in. So first off, he talked about HR being advisors to leaders and coaches to employees and unlocking the human potential and its impact not only on the inside of the company, but more importantly on the outside of the company, making it bigger than what it is, seeing that viewpoint. And if that's not for you, to look in the mirror and really examine that. And we did joke a little bit about understanding the human brain more than you can, so you can be more prepared for the circumstances that come. And you made a comment that really hit home to me. It doesn't matter where I'm going if I can't bring someone along, right? And if that journey by yourself would be a sad one that I think that maybe you couldn't take advantage of the great opportunity you have of being authentic and caring as a great HR professional. So I really appreciate you being on the show. This is fun.
Well, no problem. Thank you for having me, and good luck with the book.
You got it. Well, thank you everyone for checking out today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend. And until next time, let's continue to aspire to do amazingly awesome HR.